Michael, can you walk me through yesterday's experience when you found out you were going to be drafted in the fourth round of Major League Baseball's draft?
Yeah, it was surreal. I found out about like right before the pick actually. Like I knew like the Padres were considering me with that fourth round pick. Like my agent called me like 20 minutes before the draft started, like, hey, like look out for the Padres with their fourth round pick. So and then I didn't really hear much for a little bit. Like I still had a feeling they're gonna take me. And then it was funny. I looked at my buddy's phone, sitting right next to me. I saw my name. And I was like, wait, no way. I just got drafted to the Padres. And then I was like, everybody come in, like it's about to happen. And then it all happened so fast. And then hearing my name get called on was amazing and surreal. It was definitely a great moment.
What were those first conversations like with the Padres when when you finally do know that you're going to be a part of their org?
Um, well, like we had preseason Zooms. I met with them at the MLB Combine. It went really well, and they're an org that was definitely at the top of the bucket list throughout this whole process. And I had a feeling like I had a good chance to go there, like even like before the draft, like a month ago. And I always knew that they were gonna give me that chance, and be a Padre now is surreal, and it's a great place to go. I'm excited.
And then, coach, for you, I know highest drafted pick in Bonnie's history. Can you walk me through what were your emotions like when you know Michael's getting in the fourth round?
Yeah, just super happy for him because, he worked really hard for this. And, we really ran into some tough luck this year with his injury. And, he had a lot of faith in us and our program and me to get his name out there and market him. And that's one of the things that we heard back from the scouts a lot is that our communication with them was really good throughout the process, even in the fall and even early in the spring. So there was a lot of there was four opportunities for guys to get out and see him in the spring, and they were out. I mean, every time he pitched, there was a good showing of scouts there, and so a lot of those organizations were able to get video on him and had a lot of data. Even though he wasn't able to get a full season in, but just to kind of make history here at St. Bonaventure. Mike was a part of my first recruiting class here. To have a kid like him that we get along so well, and I feel like he's grown so much, not only as a baseball player, but just as a person, and his interaction with teammates. Like he's ready for this next step, and we couldn't be more proud of him and the fact that he gets to continue wearing brown.
Absolutely. And Michael, we'll talk about your arm. I mean, how does your arm feel at this point? What does this timeline look like these last couple months?
Yeah, it feels amazing right now. So currently I'm about 3 months post-op from Tommy John. I'll pick up a baseball in about a couple months from now, so it's gonna be a slow progression, taking it very slow. And then once I go to Arizona and meet with the Padres, they'll have me on a program and just follow that and progress as smooth as possible. But there's been no setbacks or anything so far. It's feeling in a really great spot. I'm excited to go and do the rehab at the Padres soon. So it's gonna be good.
For sure. And just to jump back, I know obviously, from Webster, how long have you been playing baseball? Has it been your entire life? And when did you realize you could be, pretty special at the sport?
I played since I could remember, like in the backyard playing wiffle ball in Little League. So probably like three or four. And then it was always my dream to be an MLB player growing up. Like that was like always like what I wanted to be, like no matter what. Like that was always the same like goal to get to was like, get drafted and become an MLB player. Like it's part of it. So I guess it became a reality in college and getting in front of teams and see my name go out there and getting buzz like coach says. And um that's when it really started to take off was in college, and then I knew like that dream became a reality, and then yesterday the dream became true, so it's exciting.
For sure. Can you walk me through your time at Webster Schrader? I know it was in the middle of COVID, right in the smack dab of COVID, but at Schrader, how did you feel like you developed your game throughout your high school career?
I'd say in high school was about like maturing, and I really started pitching my junior year like consistently. So it was funny. I was supposed to the first time I pitched actually, I was supposed to throw an inning, and then I told my coach like I don't want to come out, I don't want to come out, and then I ended up throwing a complete game. So like pitching kind of took off from there, and like in high school, that's when I like, really started to develop was like junior senior year in pitching, and it got me to Division I level, and then it just kept progressing. Now it's MLB.
For sure. And obviously, you go to George Mason. We'll get to Bonaventure in a minute. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but you go to George Mason for your first year. What was your freshman year like pitching at the Division I level for the first time?
I'd say it was definitely like obviously I was younger, so it was just about developing and getting like used to that workload from high school to college. It was just like a development piece and went there freshman and obviously transferred to Bonaventure, which turned out amazing. So like that freshman year, I definitely learned a lot of just like developing and having good teammates around me.
And coach, I'll hop to you now. You mentioned Michael was, a part of your first recruiting class. What was that recruitment like, and just what was your excitement level to get a guy of his caliber?
To be honest, we really liked him out of high school when I was at Herkimer. I don't think he was really interested in going to Division III junior college at that point. So we were on the phone with him a little bit at that point. And then when he had decided to go to George Mason, I wasn't at St. Bonaventure yet, so I got hired late that summer. So when I got here, we actually faced Michael his freshman year. So one of those few innings he got down there was against us, and I was just like, man, it sucks. The local kids down there throwing this hard, And once his name hit the portal, he was, somebody that we targeted right away. Obviously, with the close connection with Rochester kids that we tend to get here, and the ability, we were rebuilding, so Mike had a chance to kind of come in here and be an ace for us, and somebody that we were willing to invest innings in. We weren't sure. Exactly what we were getting as far as strikes and command and how he was going to transition to a starter. He was kind of out of the bullpen there, but we had the ability to kind of figure it out and work through mistakes and continue to build them up. And I think he obviously we were really happy with what we got, and I think he just kept getting better and better. And over a short period of time, it became serious stuff with the ability to show command. And I feel like we picked all the right spots, to showcase him and to get him ready for this opportunity. And we super excited that he was able to join us. And I think it was a match that we knew was the right fit right off the bat. It didn't take long to kind of get him on board here at St. Bonaventure.
For sure. And well, Michael, can I ask you real quick? Can you tilt your camera down just a little bit just to get a little more? There you go. Yeah, right there. That's perfect. Sorry. There we go. Can you talk to me that we've talked about how much better you've gotten in a short period of time? Can you walk me through your journey in velocity and where you were maybe 5 years ago in terms of a fastball and where you're sitting, pre-operation?
Yeah, so in high school, I was about upper 80s. I would touch like 91. And then my freshman year, ball was I top 94. And then I just kept progressing. So like I said, like I was like kind of new to pitching. So I just like it was like a gradual progression each like month, year. So then I got to 98 my freshman spring, and then eventually I was like getting little increases each way, and then my junior year I was able to get to 102. It just came with just like consistency and like working out and eating and trying to fuel my body as much as possible, throwing, and St. Bonaventure helped a lot with that. So I'm grateful for that, them like giving me the tools to do that. So
Yeah, absolutely. What was your favorite moment or memory pitching in college?
ooh, it's a good question. You gotta think about that. Probably I would have said A10 playoffs, but I gotta say the my favorite moment was probably the Middle Tennessee game this year. That was fun. It was a really good game. The way the team played that day, and I was like probably my best start this year. So I'll say that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, Coach, I'll ask you the same question. What's been your favorite aspect or memory of coaching Michael the last 2 seasons?
So he hit it right on the head. The Middle Tennessee game this year, they were really good, and it was the beginning of our year, and we had a lot of hopes of what we could be this year. Obviously, with Michael being a huge part of that, and that weekend it was all clicking for us as a team. We had beat a really good Old Dominion team on Friday, and then we had Michael on Saturday, and he threw an absolute gem. It was the best that I had seen him. It was electric. He was able to manipulate his off speed pitch a couple different ways for strikeouts and for strikes, and it was just kind of the complete total package. And as a team, we were rolling it. We ended up 10 running that team that day, and then followed it on Sunday with another win. So we went 3-0 on that weekend down in Tennessee, headed into some SEC games. So we felt the best that we had felt in 3 years that weekend. And Mike was a big reason for that because he was so spectacular that Saturday against Middle Tennessee. And yeah, I would definitely say that was the moment.
Sure. And Michael, what's your family's reaction been? What's the reaction, from your family since yesterday?
They've been awesome. They're just super like proud of me and the work I put in throughout the years, and for them to like see the dream come true is, they get to celebrate with me, and they were a big part of it. So I'd say that was the reaction. It was like a lot of hard work and determination throughout the years got to this point. So it was just like a celebration of that.
For sure. Other than, continuing to rehab and getting healthy, what do you feel like you have to do to be the best pitcher for the Padres organization?
I'd say for myself, like obviously the rehab right now is the most important thing. And then, once I get acclimated and start throwing again, it's going to be, developing pitches. So for me personally, like, fine tuning the change up, making my break, keep like progressing the breaking ball, maybe throw a little harder. So it's gonna be work like that. And like, that's going to be the next step for me after rehab and optimize my arsenal and go out there and, hopefully become a big leaguer soon with the Padres. That's what it's going to take.
Absolutely. And Coach, I gotta imagine this makes recruiting maybe just a hair easier going forward.
No, I think it's just another check mark for the program of the things we've done here the last 3 years. We've seen our wins increase each of the last 3 years, and now that we're developing you know major league talent, guys that are getting drafted on top of that, plus all of the upgrades that we've got going on with the program with facility. We have a major construction going on in the field right now, and things like that. So it's just a part of that wave of momentum that we've got going right now, and it's a big one for us for sure. Because now kids understand that by coming to St. Bonaventure, they can get in the top 5 rounds of the draft when it's tough to do. And even with Michael's injury, we weren't really sure how it was going to shake out because we weren't sure where he was projected before that. But I think him getting drafted in the 4th round while injured just tells you that if he was healthy this year and put up the kind of season that he was headed towards, we're probably talking about a 1st or 2nd round pick here. So, the ability to come to St. Bonaventure and have success and get eyes on you, to be able to go that high in the draft is something that we can definitely market to recruits. And, it's one of those things where it's not just us talking about it. It's proof. We have actual evidence that can happen.
For sure. Michael, I was asking you kind of like a lightning round, just like I'll ask you a question. You can take as little or as much time as you want. Favorite baseball player growing up?
Derek Jeter, probably.
So you grew up a Yankees fan, I imagine.
Yeah, but now I'm a Padres fan.
Padres fan now, yeah, exactly.
I'll say Mike Trout too. Mike Trout. I wore number 27 growing up.
Nice. Cool. Pre-game routine. Do you have a pre-game routine?
Yeah, it's just a basic warm up. Get my body feeling as best as possible. Go out there and throw. Just like warm up, stretch, and then do my pre-throwing and go out there and make sure I'm hydrated. So pretty simple.
What was your warm-up song at St. Bonaventure?
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't have time to pick one this year.
Oh, right. Because
Yeah.
fair enough. What was it last year, I guess? I should ask.
It was a song called Money for Nothing.
Got it. For sure. And how much are you going to be able to kind of carry Webster with you, as you head west?
I'd say just like being from Rochester, especially like not just Webster, like Rochester in general, like that Northeast grind, like a lot of people around here are, like underground. So like I think I was like that type of person, that type of athlete. Like I'm always like going to a small school too. So like I'm gonna carry that always that chip on my shoulder, like being a small school kid under recruited and going to, a big place like San Diego and like always have that chip on my shoulder, no matter what.